Welcome back. Well, yes, we will sort the challenge we've got connecting the minister, and we will get him on the program. He's still standing by. But in the meantime, Seyi Gambo is here. He's a former national spokesperson for Pengassan. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, many are waiting to see what explanations the minister will give about why this has happened. But you're a player in this sector. Some reasons have been itemized about all of this. I'm sure you've read through some of them. Do you think, having seen through whichever one you saw, that this, we're trying to find out from the minister, is this deregulation or what? What do you think this is?
Well, I guess there is still a lot of tricks in the bag until he says it, because they are the people that are running the policy. But overall, I would, as a former player, as Raji said, I would agree that this is the right time if you have to remove this subsidy. I might not agree that they should remove it once at a go, maybe instrumentally, not everything at a go, because of the shock. Already the masses are suffering. I mean, if people like me in the industry are crying, so I can imagine people that are not in the industry, and this is the industry that has the highest salary scale.
But how do you view it in the industry? Does removing the provision for fuel subsidy translate to full deregulation?
Yes, it does. If it does to the extent, as I said, if they are doing everything. Because I had a discussion with a former president on this same issue, and he was talking about the GED Jonathan era. That Jonathan actually asked him that he wanted to take everything. And said, "Look, I made that same mistake. Why don't you take it gradually? Let people get accustomed to it, used to it, before you take it." But the guy said he wanted to do everything, because we went to meet him and said that it's like everybody is saying you are the one behind Jonathan's insistence to remove the subsidy. And he said no. I said, but well, it's my president. He came to meet me. I have to keep quiet if that's what he wants to do. And we saw the ripple effect of what happened. The civil societies.
You couldn't advise him?
He did advise him. That's why I said he did advise him that, look, don't take it all at a go. Take it in large chunks. But let people get accustomed to it. Because everything in Nigeria, is perverted by fuel. Everything. We don't have alternative. The economy, the transportation, internal dynamics, external dynamics, everything revolves around fuel.
In other words, you think there should have been some form of palliatives?
Yes, the former government actually brought out palliatives through the Shopee. But it's neither here nor there. The only thing we saw was a lot of roads were done, but the rail system, where you expect to be moving a bulk of commuters in their hundreds, was not done. I mean, you can see what happens in Lagos, and you can see how all our the commuters hanging on there, because we don't have enough coaches. So it was more of a lip service thing, and that's why when we had that strike, which was actually engineered by the civil society, not by Labour, because Labour joined up later when there was a lot of pressure. It was because we also felt that the subsidy regime was faulty. We were subsidizing consumption, not production. That's usually a no-go in most countries. And another thing was that we could see that people were not actually bringing anything that was being subsidized. There was a lot of fraud in it. And even when after the riot, remember that some folks even died during that strike, and then that demonstration. And you also notice that even after that, about 3 panels, the Ribadu, the Ike Omoke panels that were told to look at it, all brought people that were said this guy should be sanctioned for not bringing in fuel, and they collected money for subsidy, but nothing happened. So one of the things we are having now is that then what we had is that we had issues of distrust. We could not trust the government of that time to use whatever accrues from the subsidy to build other fares of the government, be it road infrastructure, education.
Was it about trust? Because many people did say at that time, because they were having these town hall meetings, many did accuse them of not having done enough consultation before taking that decision. And they did ask as well that, look, what palliative measures, that was when that word was making around, had they or did they put in place before removing holistically?
I'll tell you that it was more of trust. Because I've been privileged to be in meetings with the former Minister of Petroleum. And I know of many times that we've signed off on many things. And okay, we are going to do this turnaround maintenance. We're going to do the scope of Port Harcourt refinery. Nothing happened. They just wanted to sell. And we are okay, we agree. We want to sell this. Who are the people that want to buy this? Let us know. Let us know if they have what it takes. You remember what happened in Nepal? I mean, Nitel, when we sold Nitel to one small company from Australia, so that they could not run Nitel. You know, so we didn't want a repeat of that. This is where we feed. We are holding on this stuff for Nigerians. I would say, okay, tell us those people that want to buy it. They will not tell us, but they just wanted to sell. They want to sell it as scrap.
All right, let's get to the Minister, Dr. Ibeka Chukwu, Minister of State for Petroleum and GMD of NNPC. Well, apologies for that challenge, but glad to have you back. Now, could you then tell us, would they start by asking, is this deregulation, because the prices are still being regulated by, as we've seen announced by P.R.O, as well as yourself?
Let me say, I really can't hear you properly, so I can't even get the question you're asking.
We're asking, is this full deregulation because the prices are still being announced by government agencies?
I can't hear you.
Oh dear. Well, we could hear him loud and clear, but he still can't hear us. But we'll keep working on that and see how we can sort that out.
We can't say it's full deregulation.
Okay, that's what you think.
We've seen daily said deregulation at last. Government bites the bullet.
There's a good form of deregulation, but when you say deregulation, it should be all commerce affair. You know, it should be very dynamic.
What's the difference between this and what went down with the AGO? No, with the AGO, the diesel.
The diesel too is not fixed. You know, that's completely deregulated.
So for diesel, it wasn't fixed.
No,
there wasn't a cap.
No, there wasn't a cap because we have agencies that you know, vis-a-vis do pay from a fund to take care of those transportation differentials, so that there will be, wherever you take it from point A to point B, there should be uniform pricing. But we know that even with that in the PMS, with PMS, you notice that it's only city centers like Lagos, Abuja that were enjoying it. More than 70% of the population were not enjoying any form of the...
If the deregulation takes place as you say it should, that agency will cease to exist.
Well, it can transit. Then other things that the agency that I know of, as when you're talking of the lifting, because you need to know the volume that is lifted within and coming out, you know, and to other places. And I mean, that agency is very, very relevant, you know, in when you call the database.
Let's look at this industry different. There's this notion that the activities in the oil industry in Nigeria are too dark. I mean, the waters around there are very murky, and this is like helping to open it up. But you say this is the time. Is this really the time?
Yeah, well, you know, it's an issue of perspective, because I've been there. I've noticed that we have had an arrested development in the industry. The PIB is not being signed off, you know, for years now. You know, we had so much promises they're going to do it this year, you know, and nothing has happened. And we have to move ahead. And unfortunately for us, it's not only Nigeria is not the only big player now. Even in the, you know, in West Africa, you know, you have other countries coming up, Ghana, you know, and so many other countries are coming up. Then so many other alternatives. Shell, you know, some are doing a lot of, some are even trying nuclear energy. There's so many things coming up. So we cannot not position ourselves in a competitive way. You know, we have to make sure that we are well positioned. For long intent and purpose, I'm not really a fan of the minister, but I must give it to him that, you know, that out of everything, he's still trying to get some. There's no money. The country is broke, and you want to fund your budget. I mean, you want to develop the sector. What do?
Well, if the diesel area has been fully deregulated, as you say, they're not fixing the prices or announcing the prices or regulating the prices. Why are we doing the same thing for? Why don't we do the same thing for the petrol?
But you should know that diesel in Nigeria is more of an high-end user. You know, when you're talking of factories, you know, big cars and things like that. But you know, the petrol, and after petrol, kerosene is one that meets the masses. Most cars run on petrol. You know, most of the generators run on petrol. So it's bringing it home to you.
Isn't it all the more reason?
That's the more reason they should take off the cap.
And that's what we're saying. I agree that
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. That's what I
was I asked you.
That's what I said.
No, you already answered
as long as there's a cap there, that means to an extent it's been regulated, you know. But you see, governments also have to, what I think they're doing is that they also have to gauge the reaction of people, and they have to also make sure that they don't just throw it and everything goes haywire. I mean, for a while, they'll try and monitor, you know, how far this goes. So I guess so far so good. Let's see how it plays out.
You know, I'm trying to look at the figure you're trying to paint, a rough figure, to see the amount of Nigerians who make use of petrol, which is really, really large. Because if you talk about the vulcanizer, the one who put them in their motorbikes,